Greetings Pisceans, my lovely friends. Thank you for joining me. That was an introduction to your September reading with the sound bath meditation of the base chakra energy. So the base chakra controls and energizes our physicality in life, including our jobs, careers, finances, homes, family, our flight and fear and emotions as well. So welcome to your reading for September. We will be using these 4 decks of cards that you see in front of you. These 2 are tarot, these 2 are oracle decks. Now, as I've been working through the September readings, they have become more intense, I guess you could say. I think they have evolved since the beginning of the readings, so it's actually quite nice to be getting your readings a little bit later in the journey. Now, I also did some work for you beforehand. Each zodiac sign got a phrase or a word to use or utilize, to focus on or meditate with. So it might pay to check your moon and rising signs as well. But your particular phrase for this month that came for you was sign from above. So that could potentially, to me, when I thought of it, a sign from above could mean some sort of signal that you might receive in regards to a question you are asking, or even just a message or some sort of communication from a loved one who has passed over. So angelic connections, archangels, your guardian angels, spirit guides, or seeing something synchronistically can also be considered a sign from above. September is quite a powerful month. Well, actually August and September tie in together in this amazing timeline of energy that is forming a portal, if you like, that is taking us forward for the next 12 years. So significant decisions or thoughts or directions that you are pondering upon, that you are about to make, will format a direction and a base for the next 12 years. So it's really important that you think through what you are planning to do, make some really strong plans and put some strategies in place, and try to visualize where you might want these events or situations or choices to be in 12 years time. We're forewarned if we're opened up to this information so that we can make the right choices. So I think that's really pertinent at the moment. The other thing to say is, all of us here on earth are noticing that we are going through massive amounts of change, both personally, within communities, and globally. So you could call it's unpredictable. It feels as though things are not completed and that we're in periods of continual change. But this is part of manifesting the newness and the direction that we're headed in. So I think it's really important to remember to explore and experiment, and this will help you to gain clarity and allow you flexibility to experiment with things in your life, to help you to make the choices about not being afraid to move forward. So anyhow, Pisces, let us look at what you are about to receive for your messages. First of all, I have actually done shuffling, but I will shuffle a little bit more just so that you can all see there's nothing staged about the cards or anything that comes up. It's not premeditated or thought upon. It's all just arrives during the reading as and when it's meant to. So this is for Pisces. What messages is for them to hear? What divine timing and messages would you like to deliver to Pisces for September 2019? So they don't need much shuffling because, as I say, I have shuffled beforehand. This is just letting you all see that there's nothing going on that shouldn't be. This deck here are quite intense. I tend not to use too many of these in a reading, but they can be very helpful and insightful. I have been starting over here on the left hand side, so I will continue to do so. I do love the John Holland deck. It integrates a lot of colour as well. So let us see, Pisces, what's the first card for you as we move into this reading. The Seven of Cups, choose wisely. That's kind of what I was just saying about making choices and being able to explore and having flexibility. So there's a lot of choice around you that you might have at the moment, and this could be in any area of your life. The cups can often be pertaining to emotional choices that we make. So when this card turns up, it definitely tells us that there's activity going on around us that is creating some sort of emotional flux or anticipation or excitement. Now, when you've got choice, and this could be about relationships, it could be about health options, it could be career, money, moving homes, even doing your home up. Some of you might be thinking of renovating, and you're thinking, what choice do I make? When we have plenty of choice, you do need to make a wise one and the right one if you can. I think what this card, the message it tells us often is, sometimes there's people around in particular, so maybe not so much a choice about whether you're painting your lounge green or should it be grey. That's not a problem. It might cost you a bit more money to repaint it. But this card often refers to choices about relationships and people that you might come across in your life. And sometimes there's some people out there that may not be advantageous to have around you at the moment. They could be hiding something, or what they're offering is a false, not a false flag, but a falsehood of some sort. Let's see what we can extend this on. So we'll take this one here. The Ace of Rods is the complete opposite feeling. It's a very good positive card that talks about new beginnings, and quite often in the creative sector. So there is possibly something new coming for you guys. There's either an idea or a passion or some sort of flow coming in. And of course, I often refer to the Pisceans as being a very creative zodiacal sign. I've got many Piscean friends, and most of them all own their own businesses. And many of them have had more than one career path in their lifetime, and they're good at all the things that they do. They really quite astound me with their creative ability and the way they can pull ideas out of the ethos or the atmosphere and then bring it down and turn it into reality. And that's exactly what this Ace of Rods suggests. So for some of you, one of these options that you pick could be very, very successful. It could lead you on to something that grows and expands in a positive way. And for some of you, this could be a career option or choice. And for others, it's something that you are passionate about and that fires you up or really grabs you at the heart level. So I think the message behind this one is, yeah, just do some due diligence and homework on some of these choices that you're getting. You might even have more than one option on a job offer or career path that you could take, and just check it a little bit, and also trust your intuition and work into it that way as well. But those two, this one confirms that there is great positivity hiding in there. Parents. The divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you heal from any pain associated with your mother or father. Now, there's one of the signs from above, and that was your message that I told you about at the beginning. And I said it could be from loved ones or people who have passed over. Some of you who have parents who have passed over, or grandparents possibly, or someone who was like a parent, they're wanting to get your attention as a sign from above and say something to you. I don't know how many of you, and again, this is getting really personal, and I'm not sure why this is happening, but as I said at the beginning, there feels as though there's some strange timeline or portal that's open right at the moment that we can access or allow some sort of healing, to take place between the past and the present in particular. It's like we're floating through time, and it's allowing us to re-engage with past issues to bring about healing. Now look, I don't know how that actually happens. I'm not a physicist, and I don't fully understand the timeline evolutions and how we can move into different time dimensions, but I do know that it's a possibility. You know, there's also, we talk about past life issues and things along those lines. This could even go back into past life karma, into family lineage. Now again, I don't know how many of you understand this or believe in it or even want to follow it, but there's this tendency to believe, if you like, that we come into certain family bloodlines to do healing work, or we come in to work through solutions or problems with past life issues. So the family line that we've chosen can have lots of problems, negativities, health issues, mental health issues, relationship problems, and these can all be tied into health issues that we pick up ourselves or that flow through the family line. So this feels like a time where an amazing amount of connection or healing can be uplifted or propagated, or even coming through from the deceased past people back into your timeline to engage in love or healing or something positive. It's very poignant, it's very powerful. Some of you will feel it and others of you won't. But I do know that Pisceans, a bit like Scorpions, you two are both two of the most deeply spiritual and psychic of all the 12 signs. So you guys do kind of get it. Even if some of you don't, you'll get it at a soul level. This is quite deep. But coming back to the card, there's this message here for you from some sort of parent energy that you have had in this life or a past life. They are here to hold you closely, to hold you in their arms, and there's some sort of apology that's coming with it. There's also, for some of you that lost a parent that you loved dearly, that you would love to see again, they are there, they are around you, they're there in the spirit essence, and sometimes they can come through in dreams, and you can have this wonderful dream time with them. So see if you can connect with that in the astral realm or your dream time, if you are really wanting to feel the presence of a dear departed family member or parent again. Now, for those of you who have parents that you're still with in this lifetime, that are still living, and they haven't done that good a job at being a parent, this is a message for you to understand that they can only do the best to their ability. They can't be the perfect parent. They may be, they are faulty, because we're humans. Everyone has faults. None of us are perfect at everything. And if you had parents that didn't do that grander job, it's all they could offer. And we have to let go of that anger or resentment that we hold. So wow, this card just blew me away. It just went, woo, I'm taking over. I'm really taking over with this reading. So I hope that didn't bore too many of you. There was a lot that wanted to come through, and when that happens, I can't just stop it. It just needs to be said. So I'll pop it down there. It's had a lot of time, and a lot of different energies just flowed into that card. But let's come to this one now. Now that we're in the heavy stuff, let's come to here and see what's going to come out of this. Oh God, the goddess of justice. You see, what seems an injustice is actually a blessing. So I just finished telling you about this energy and these thoughts and the messages that were coming. And so there are apologies coming to some of you about, I don't know, I don't want to say ill treatment, but there could be ill treatment, or their lack of ability to have been a better parent, especially for the ones who have deceased and gone. And for others who are still here and you wish you'd had a better parent, or you'd had a better childhood, or things had been better between you. what seems an injustice is a blessing. So it is so hard to accept messages like this. These are the things that really get deep into our soul. These are the moments in time when we reflect upon energies and messages like this that are very poignant and take us into deep personal places of soul reflection. And when we do things like that, when we do work like that, we move and we grow at our greatest levels. I think I'll read from the book for you about this card because, as I said, some of these messages from this deck are very, and it may not be referring to just parents either when I read the words. So we'll just let this expand on itself. You feel that a certain situation in your life is in some way unfair. Yet be assured that justice, which is the natural state of balance inherent in the universe, does exist. Justice is actually the universal law of cause and effect through which all in life is kept in balance. A recent event which you perceive to be unfair is actually a blessing in disguise, here to guide you toward your highest purpose. It is understandable that you cannot see the blessing at this time. However, the goddess of justice is asking you to surrender the strong emotions and resentments you have attached to this situation. Trust. By letting go of this issue, she will help clear your path and create the space for something wondrous to occur. And wondrous can be, as I said, your own growth. It can also be an allowing of an apology to come through, or a healing of any past what you perceive to be injustices, or what were injustices carried out against you, either by family members in particular, or community or career, or even a health situation could be imbued into the energy of this message as well. So yeah, they have had a lot of time, those two. They must have wanted to be said. As I said at the very beginning of the reading, this is a very powerful portal of time energy in the year. I'm really glad that you chose to come along and listen to the video and hear the messages that have come through, because for some of you it's extremely important, and for others of you, you're just going to be able to utilize the timing that's going on within the reading as well. So partnerships and alliances, and we saw that with these two cards over here. I talked about the fact that you seemed to be able to have choices at the moment, and it could have been around career opportunities or options or people in your life. So this is two people creating some sort of partnership or alliance. Now, so this could be the forming of a business structure or partnership somehow, whether it's to do with a career is individual. Some of you will feel that. Others might find it's a partnership between, just like a personal one, between new friendships that could be forming. So it could be some of these new people that are around in your life that you are looking into and thinking, yeah, I quite like this person, I might make a friendship with this one. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship I'm talking about here. It could be an extension of your friendship circle or a community, or it's work that you do and there's a whole bunch of people involved. But it does also bode very well for careers and for forming partnerships and new businesses. And this is a strong alliance as well. The Three of Wands is also often considered about broadening your horizons and looking further to expand. So expansion in a career for some of you is on the cards, and you are looking about how you go about doing that. Possibly going global or expanding from your current country that you work from or your sector. And this is why these choices might be here. Some of you are pondering on how do you expand something like this business and how do you go forward. And that's when I said before, do some due diligence and make sure that you are checking properly any offers of partnership that are around. Some of them are going to be potentially quite successful, and others could cause you a headache. The Knight of Swords, he could be a person for you, and it could be an air sign person. He tends to fire things up, and he's a communicator, so he can come to you in the form of communication which can be verbal, via telephone or through emails or written. So he can be about signing documents, creating a form of communication with someone else. So establishing something and getting it going. He's fired up and he creates this energy. Now, you see in the back there's this tower here and there's all these flames and things coming out, and his sword looks a bit aggressive. So sometimes he has passionate, fiery energy that means let's get this thing rolling. Let's get some action going. It could be something that has been held up in the past and you're sick and tired of waiting for it, so you're going, right, I want to get this done, let's leap into action. He can be very swift at coming and going, and once he's started something, he can be gone. Now, for some of you, this could be a person, literally, as I said, an air sign person who comes in, fires something up, creates some sort of, quick fire activity, and then he disappears again. How he's related to situations, I'm not sure. Sometimes he could be considered something like a lawyer or an accountant who is activating documentation or papers or legal things. Crown chakra is top of the head, just like this one here, where ideas come from. But this is the ideas coming in and coming from celestial realm and from things like ideas from above. That's your little saying again for the month, the sign from above. So you'll receive signs from above through the crown chakra. This is where when we're intuitively in touch and we know that we're on the right road. So it says here, pay attention to your ideas as they are messages of true divine guidance sent in answer to your prayers. So again, this is talking about listening to signs, being intuitive about decisions you make and choices and people and situations and communication and messages you hear. Tapping into your gut instincts, tapping into the astral realm, into dream times. You might receive some really interesting dreams in this month coming up that connect you with possibly past loved ones who just want to let you know they're still thinking of you and offering you support even through the spirit world. They might come to you as messages of inspiration and ideas as well. So really be ready to accept this information and stuff that comes to you. Sometimes this can mean that the head is affected in the month, and that could mean things like headaches, ear things. In fact, I almost get the feeling that I wonder if there's an ear card coming out. But we've got more about your intuitive feelings. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. 2 cards now in a row talking to you about you guys receiving some sort of intuitive messages and knowing that that's what you need to do to utilize some of the choices and decisions you're making in this month. So don't underestimate your own ability to know what's right and wrong, and use it to help choose wisely in situations. And remember, you are receiving messages from above, which you could put into that whole broad category of receiving it as intuitive messages. Solitude, number 9, is the Hermit card. This is a card again of great insight and understanding the universe at the cosmic level, of celestial information and connection to that, and your intuitive abilities. It doesn't surprise me, Pisces, because as I said, I feel you guys are some of the most intuitive of the whole 12 zodiacs. So tapping into it can only benefit you. Now, the Hermit card is often about taking a little bit of time out and meditation and time alone to find these answers and find what it is you're really seeking. Because when you do, you'll be surprised at what you come up with. So it also can mean that you need a little bit of a rest as well, and that it would be really good for your mind, body and soul to take this time out and do some recuperation. Beautiful, another major arcana for you, the Empress. She's very much the divine figure of pleasure and happiness, of feeling at one with nature and herself. She has this heart in the middle here, so this is an emotional perspective of life, and she can be feeling quite a lot of passionate emotion, but not necessarily lustful in terms of just more like love emotions, loving life, loving things around her. She is actually a very receptive vessel. There's the lotus flower opening into blossom. It can be a time of conception of pregnancy for those of you who are interested, but it can be also a conception of ideas, and we saw that with the Ace of Rods, which is about new ideas coming in. The moon under her feet can be meaningful in terms of full moon or moon cycles for the month of September as well. And this can be when this feeling of fertility or conception or ideas or completion or sensuality as well can come into play even more so. So 2 sevens have turned up, and this is now the Seven of Wands. Yes, it's the Seven of Swords actually, and this is the Seven of Cups. So when the numbers start duplicating themselves, it pays to listen. So the number 7 could be relative for you in the month. Now, this one is the deception and envy. And I said to you there was a little bit of this possibly over here. I'm just going to say, I do think in the month there is someone you need to watch out for, or something that is going on perhaps behind your back, or has a slight hidden agenda. You can see that he's about to pull a mask over his face because there's something that he wants to do within the guise of deception. Now, when this card comes out for readings, and it's the first time he has come out for September, I warn people of things like fraud, monetary fraud within businesses in particular, but also personal fraud. So things like your passports, your bank accounts, your PIN numbers on cards, being conned or swindled into online things can be a really big issue. Dating places, especially for women, be very careful about who you might get into a dating online situation with, because these 2 cards would bode a little bit of deception going on in the background. So they're cautionary cards. They're just telling you to be awake and be aware of who you're dealing with in the month of September, and especially in terms of your finances, your private personal information and business transactions. We won't sit on that any more than that. The warning's there, the information's there, we'll just leave it at that. Well, now we've got the 3 of Hearts. So if you're not careful and you let someone in who is going to wreak havoc or get away with something or take something from you, that's how you could end up. So don't let it happen. You've been forewarned, so be careful now. This can be around relationships. It can sometimes be when 3 people are involved in a relationship. So I have seen this card sometimes turn up when affairs are going on, but it doesn't have to mean that either. What it can symbolize is that there is a little bit of pain in the heart area, but you see, we've had 2 red hearts now. We've had this one, which is positive and pumping and very full and activated, and then we've had this one which seems a little bit more somber and injured. So if we come back to this one and put that energy over here, this card tells us that with communication, because these are the swords, that sometimes we can heal this issue that is going on. We talked about the Injustice card, the Goddess of Justice that came out, which had given you sort of a talking about something. And we also had this, the Parents. So somehow for some of you there might be a link in here to some sort of family issues that have been going on, whether or not this involves an extended family or even community that you are with or friends one way or another. But remember that what seems an injustice is a blessing in disguise. It's something that was scripted to happen and you could be working your way through it, and that somehow karma is playing out. Now that's something I did forget to say, that this particular time period at the moment is extremely karmic. So some karmic cycles are coming to an end. So don't let this too, because it's a 3, it's a temporary thing. Don't let anything that's popping up in the month get you down too much. Focus on the positives and let these kind of like waves of energy roll through, and don't allow them too much of your time. Dedicate the right attitude to them and give them due diligence. But remember, there's always more than just one thing going on at a time, and this is just one aspect of looking at it. But it can be worked through with communication and talking sometimes, especially if this involves a relationship that you want to work on and save. So yeah, you're getting a little bit of a feisty message going on in terms of what is happening, and that there is a bit of activity in the month that I do think it's good that you tuned in, because you can be aware of any fraudulent people around, or anyone who had a bit of deception that they wanted to cause some sort of injustice, because you have got the card of justice in the end. So don't panic about it. Know that things will be resolved, but be on your, just keep your toes about you and be open to listening to your intuitive messages, because that's where you will find a lot of your answers. So maybe we'll do one more card for the last one, and great, we've got it back again, and that's why we know the reading has finished, because this is the Ace of Rods. So you've had it turn up twice. And this is, you see what it says, passion ignited. And guess what? Look at this. This is her heart. And this is her heart chakra singing and ignited, just like we saw in the Empress card. And that's why I said to you, you need to also focus on what the positives were in the reading, and not too much on what's going on in the background. It is there and it needs dealing with, but bring into it all of these, because these are the ones that supersede any lower vibrational frequencies. Now, it's interesting that I brought into you, for the beginning of your reading, the base chakra bowl, which is in the background now, because that is the bowl of your physical relationships, and also finances and money, and being grounded in our homes, and stability and safety. So by starting the reading with that sound bath meditation energy, we were firing up strength and courage and determination and practical energies and safety and finance, and getting that base chakra energy open and activated. So there you are, Pisces. Yes, she's a busy month for you, and yes, you need to keep your eyes open, but so do we all, quite frankly. There's a lot of pretty yucky people out there in the world, and a lot of us cross people like that, or come across them every day, and it's just how we interact and the decisions we make that keep us on the right path and avoid them. So you guys make the right decisions for the month. Give it all you've got. Boot out the people that are interfering or doing wrong, and yeah, just remember to keep this all going, because this is all about positivity, passion ignited, newness coming, great ideas, and energy and fire and love and excitement, a whole bunch of stuff. So that's the way to end the reading. Do check your moon and rising signs, and I thank you all for subscribing and hitting the notification button. I love to hear what you have to say when you leave your comments, and all of the people who watch the videos, they all learn from the comments that are left behind as well, and they all feel part of the community. So thank you again, everyone. Much love. Namaste.